Hello guys, and welcome to another video. My name is Ngalo J. I hope all of you are feeling good today. We shall be talking about the DS260 form. What is it all about? So the DS260 form is a form that you fill online when you are applying for an immigrant visa. And an immigrant visa is a visa that permits you to stay permanently in the United States. For example, the DV visa, the visa that you get when you're coming to live with your spouse, your child or your parent. And also there's also certain types of work visas that are immigrant visa. So as a DV winner, when you win the DV lottery, you have to fill a DS260 form for yourself. And if you have a spouse and child, you have to fill DS260 forms for them too. And it is worth noting that it's only a winner, a DV winner, that can have access to a DS260 form. Because when you win the DV lottery, they're going to give you a number called the case number. Yeah, it's this number that identifies you. It's only with this number that you can be able to get into this form to fill it. And when you fill this form and it is complete, you have to send the form to the KCC. You submit it to the KCC, which is the Kentucky Consular Center. It is a center that manages everything that concerns the DV lottery, up to the point of sending your appointment at the level of your local embassy. From that level now, your local embassy takes over your DV case. Now, there are certain important things or points to know about the DS260. The very first one is that the DS260 form can be filled only in the English language and using English characters only. All right? So those of you who have difficulties with the English language, you should start looking for somebody who is going to help you fill the form when you win the DV lottery. Another point to note is that the form, the DS260 form, is a very long form to fill. So there are many information and many parts that you need to fill. And part of this information is the information that you filled when you were playing the DV lottery. So you are going to enter this information on your DS260 form. Now, if your situation has not changed, then the information that you entered for when you were playing the DV lottery, that same information, you are going to enter it in the DS260 form. But if your situation has changed, then you have to enter the part of the situation that has changed, or the information that has changed, right? So, for example, if while I was applying for the DV lottery, I was single, I did not have a child, and by the time I win the DV lottery and I'm filling my DS260 form, I have a child and I'm married, I need to fill in this new information. Number of children now will change from 0 to 1, and my marital status will change from single to married. Another important point to note is that whichever information that you fill on your DS260 form, please always make sure that you can justify it. You should be able to prove, just like the example that I gave earlier. I should be able to present marriage certificates and birth certificates of my baby and my husband during the interview in this case. Another important point to note is that when filling this form, you should not be in a rush. All right? It is a very long form, and filling it at times can be tiring. And when you fill a form and you get tired, you are liable to make mistakes. So when you get tired, you can click on save, and then you come back maybe the next day or so to continue. All right? Another important point to note is just in line with the previous one, is that you must not fill the form in one sitting. Like you sit at once, that no, let me just finish with this thing and go away. Well, if you have the capacity and you are certain that you can fill it without making those mistakes, any mistakes, then that will be good. You can do it, but it's not very advisable. All right? So like I said before, you can always save your work and you come back later. Because this brings us to another important point to note. There are certain mistakes that when you make on your DS-260 form, it can cost you not to have your visa during your interview, all right? And there are also other mistakes that when you make and then you submit, when you fill in and you submit, you may want to change them later on, and that is a whole lot of procedure, guys. So you don't want to find yourself in such situations. So it's always better to take out time to fill your form correctly. And you must not take the whole time. You should not waste too much time trying to like, no, I want to do this thing so that there should be no mistake. But at the same time, you should not rush, right? Okay. So that is for the time that you can use for to fill the DS-260. Now, there are certain information and documents that you are supposed to have with you while you are filling your DS-260 form. It is very, very important, because having these documents, it will help you to get the correct dates, you know, the correct spellings, and all of that. All of this is to minimize the errors that you can make on the form. We know, and they also know, that we are all human beings and we are liable to make mistakes. But try as much as possible to make as few mistakes as possible. So I've made a video on this information and documents that you need to have when you're filling your DS-260 form. So you can check it out on the channel. Now, when you have completed your form, then you have to review. You need to go through it. You have to read through it, comparing it again with the documents you have, to make sure that you have reduced the number of mistakes that you have on your form before you click on the submit button, please. So these are some of the points that I think it's important that you have in mind before you go filling your DS-60 form, or even while you are filling the form. Thank you so much for watching, and remain blessed.